that's another part of the futures game too, is sometimes you just bet a number hoping that there's an area to hedge down the line. That's a part of this as well. Chelsea, let me throw this scenario at you. I'm moving into like NFL divisions. I'm looking at the AFC North, and I'm wondering if I can talk you into maybe looking at Cincinnati at 20-1 to win the division, right? Because we're talking about you don't want to buy in on teams, and the Ravens right now are a big favorite. They're only one game back of Pittsburgh. They're minus 275 at BetMGM. Steelers are plus 260, and the Bengals are 20-1. The Ravens haven't played the Steelers yet this season, and they haven't played the Bengals. And we got news yesterday that Burrow is back at practice this week, and he's eyeing that Thanksgiving game against the Ravens. So there is a chance that Burrow could play both games this year against the Ravens. They're at Buffalo, but he should be back for that game as well. They end the season against the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and the Browns. Now, their next two games without Burrow are going to be tough. They're at the Steelers this week, and they're home against the Patriots. The reason I think the 20-1 is so interesting, if the Bengals win this week and they get to 4-6 on the season, and they beat the Steelers, who would drop to 5-5, even if the Ravens beat the Browns, the Ravens would also be 5-5. So if the Bengals pull the upset this week, they're one game back of Pittsburgh, and they'd have the tiebreaker because they beat them both times. And then they'd be one game back of the Ravens, and they still have to play them twice, with Burrow potentially playing in both of those games against Baltimore. The defense is atrocious, and I understand, and that's why the price is 20-1. But at the price, with Burrow potentially coming back, if they can win this week, which I think they maybe can against the Steelers, do you think that's worth a bet with Cincinnati, or can you just not trust that defense?
I feel like you had me when you said 20-1. I was like, ooh, that's really interesting. And then you look at the schedule. Like, this schedule is absolutely brutal. Like, I understand once Joe Burrow gets back, they certainly have a chance against anybody. But again, you talk about the defense. Can we really trust the defense to play on such a razor thin margin? Because if you lose some of these games, like, here's the schedule coming up. On the road to the Steelers, they host the Patriots, then they go to the Ravens, then they go to the Bills, then it's the Ravens again, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and then the Browns. So the end of the schedule, not as hard, but like that 5-game stretch is absolutely brutal. So especially in like Joe Burrow's first game back, can we really expect him to be playing at full strength? Because it feels like, the Bengals are going to have to score 40 points in some of these games just because of their defense. So I get the point that you're making, and it's based on the price. But the more I look, the more I realize why this is 20-1.
100%. And yeah, look, again, it's a long shot, but those are the kinds of things I look for in division betting is, can a team have a tiebreaker, and do they still have to play the team they're trying to catch a couple times, and are they in striking distance? And I like the fact the Bengals were on a bye this past week. Now they get the news that Burrow is back practicing. They're kind of looking at this game against the Steelers as their season, right? Because the difference between going to 4-6, one game back of Pittsburgh and Baltimore with the tiebreaker over the Steelers, to dropping to 3-7 and being 3 games back of the Steelers, it's everything. Like, the Bengals season is on the line this week. So I just look at that number at 20-1. Chelsea, if they win this game, I mean, that's going to shrink to like 12-1, 10-1. So it's what we were just talking about. Like, you bet futures to try and predict the market, to try and see into the future, which is why they're called futures. So I think that's interesting. Like, people are talking about the Ravens. They're talking about the Steelers collapse. I don't know, 20-1. I think it could be worth a little sprinkle on Cincy.
Well, here's the thing. If you think they can win their division and make it to the playoffs, they're 150-1 to win the AFC. Just saying. If you're ready for a big gamble. If not, that's fine too. All right,